So, you think you're ready for a 100% render? Here are some things to check. First of all, with your camera, you've got some keyframes at the beginning, 150, keeping it still, and then some keyframes for angling the camera down, which will make it look like the object is coming towards us. You may need some extra keyframes. There shouldn't be keyframes right next to each other. That'll make the motion rather jerky. Here under the object, you should have a keyframe at the beginning, one to rotate in one direction, and another one at the end rotating in the opposite direction. Here under the render options, we should be at 100%, 1 to 450, and 30 frames per second for the frame rate. Scrolling down under shading, you can see that we've got a transparent background. You can test this by pressing F12, and as it renders along the edges, this checkerboard pattern will remain. You can also see down here that I've got it set to PNG, and not only that, but it's set to RGB alpha, alpha standing for transparency. Without this, if it's on RGB, it will fill those pixels in with black, and we will not be able to animate properly. The folder that it goes in should be named the date, your name, what it is, and then 100% spelled out, and then the number of samples that are set. 10 is sufficient for some smooth shadows. There should also, let me go back, not be anything here, because this will add that to the file name, and what we want is simply the number of the frame. Let me check the environmental lighting as well. Go down here, you can see that environmental lighting is turned on, and it is not the full 1 energy, but in this case 0.5 gives us some good shadows with some detail in them. Also notice down here samples is set to 15, but what I wanted was samples 10. One more thing to check here, and that is that your overwrite has been taken off. This will allow you to easily continue a render wherever it left off. I'll show you how that works. There should not be an asterisk here, meaning that the file has not been saved. So last thing you do before starting your render is to save the Blender file so that that recipe can be continued and everything stays the same. Once you begin your render, you can do that here with this button. It's a good idea to go and look in the folder where you expect those pictures to show up. Pictures, Blender Render, and find your latest version folder right here. And you can see that the first image has been created. The file name is 0001. And in fact, this image right here could go on your Weebly website already. Later on, you might pick another one with a slightly different angle to show your object from 2 different positions. But that is setting up a render. So I'm going to press Escape here and show you how it can pick up where it left off. Looking in the folder, you can see that it completed 4 of these. If I go back to Blender, I can also click in the folder name down here, and you can see those 4. I'm going to go ahead and save this again just because I've tinkered with it a little bit, and just pick up rendering where I left off. Notice that it started on frame 5. So each time you open it up and click Render Animation, it'll keep going until it gets to the 450 frame.